everyone, and welcome to the third episode of BeMetals monthly series hosted by Six. I'm pleased to be joined today by Derek Iwanaka, Vice President of Investor Relations and Corporate Development with BeMetals. Derek's going to walk us through a presentation, and after we're going to be going into a live Q&A session. If you have any questions, please ask them using the Q&A chat found on the right-hand side of your screen at any time. And as a note about today's presentation, it's available in the Handouts tab on the right-hand side of your screen. Because this is a series, you'll automatically be registered and notified of the next episode with your attendance and registration today. But as always, because this is on Six.com, today's recording will be available in the coming days. And with that, Derek, I'd like to pass things over to you to get us started.
Thanks, Cam, and thanks to Six for hosting us for this webinar today. Thanks to all of you for joining today, taking a little time out of your day to have a listen at what BeMetals is up to since our last update. It's basically been a month since our last monthly update. So actually, we didn't have a ton of news. I will get into some of it, which came from our Pangeni project, but largely, I would say this is a marketing update just to tell you what we're doing. So in case anybody's wondering, what are these guys up to? Well, let's go through it. Hopefully I won't be making too many forward statements, but if we are, please have a look at this slide. And then, so the first thing I just want to point out is that we just created a new YouTube channel for everybody out there. I really encourage you to take a look. We have a whopping, I think, 8 subscribers at this very moment. So please have a look. All the webcasts or summits that we've done with Six are posted on there. And any other ones that we do, additionally, we will be adding them here. So this is a great place, kind of a depository for all the videos that we're doing. And if you ever want to find out about Japan or Pangeni or what's going on in South Mountain, almost all that is going to be aggregated into this channel here. So I encourage you to take a look at our BeMetals YouTube channel. Next up, just a little over a week ago now, we did our, oops, I think I skipped this slide. No, okay, that's right. We did the BeMetals on the Lassonde curve presentation. And there were a number of different companies that participated in this webinar. And ours was featured kind of, not sure you'll be able to see it, but we were kind of right on the exploration or pre-discovery point on the chart there. So, what I highlighted was that we are just at the stage where if you do make a discovery, the stock tends to go much higher than where we are today. And of course, that does usually tail off after the discovery is made. And then you go into a lower stage there, which kind of goes into that next trough or the first trough on the chart there. And then finally, when you get into construction and production, you go back up the curve again. So at the moment, all of our projects are at the exploration stage. And we have been drilling at Pangeni, and we are also drilling in Japan. And of course, as most of you know, we've been drilling in Idaho as well. So we've been active on 3 continents. Exploration results have been coming out kind of throughout the year. I don't know if we're going to have more on Japan, but I'll touch on that a little bit later. But suffice to say, we are in a great place on the curve for this Lassonde curve. And, if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them afterwards. Now, hopefully some of you saw this pitch battle that we did. I was matched up against my former colleague, Patrick Donnelly, who's the CEO of E79 Resources. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a number of people that came out to watch it. We did have at least some feedback, but I'd love to hear any other feedback that you have. Did people like this event, or did they not like it? And if so, why not, or why did you like it? So really today's presentation, I kind of just want to get feedback from all of you. So I'm just going to go through kind of what we've done, and then at the end, I'm going to ask you, what you think we could do to improve. Our CEO, John Wilton, couldn't be here today because he is actually in London as we speak. He's at the Mines and Money show in London right now, and walking the floor. I understand it's reasonably attended, but haven't heard anything else yet. But I'd be happy to inform anybody once I hear a little bit more on what's going on at Mines and Money in London this year. We did attend last year. Unfortunately, COVID kind of rocked us. I think that's right around when the Omicron variant was kind of spreading across. I almost got trapped myself in London. So, but suffice to say, we are marketing. Our fearless CEO is on the road and telling the story right now in London. And then we're going to continue to tell the story with the Six Mix. This is their now becoming an annual conference by Six, and we are going to participate. We will be doing a presentation here in the next week or so. I actually don't even know what exact date it is, but I'm sure you will all be emailed once we find out the exact date. So we will be presenting here. It's just I believe it's a 12-minute presentation. Sorry, 15-minute presentation. And that's just to give everybody an introduction to what we're doing with the company. And at the moment, working on an animation. I think I touched on it last summit. And these are kind of screenshots of what that animation is going to look like. This is not the final product, just so you know, but at least it gives you a little indication. If you can see that. Starts from the top left-hand corner and then kind of makes its way down to the bottom right-hand corner. That's basically going through kind of the introduction to BeMetals, the background, which would be that the core founders were the same core founders that created BeMet Gold back in 1988, and then B2 Gold in 2007. And eventually then BeMetals was spawned out of that same crew of supporters, shareholders, and directors. So that should be finished, I hope, before the end of this year, and then we can launch it either by the end of this year or early next year. So that'll be a really cool, I think, animation and good visual tool that we can use for marketing the company and just for giving everybody a brief introduction to what we're doing and what BeMetals is all about. And lastly, not because it's least important, but I also just want to give you an update on what we're doing with our projects. I'll just start with Pangeni because it's most topical since we are drilling now in Pangeni in Zambia. That, just to refresh you, is on the western side of the Zambian Copperbelt. And we are drilling through a thin layer of Kalahari sand cover and exploring for large or world-class copper discoveries. That's what has been made along the belt, and that's exactly what we hope to do ourselves. We completed a phase of air core drilling there this year, and we just started up the actual diamond drilling, and we should be doing at least, I think, 6 or 7 holes there, and following up partially on what we did last year, but also on the air core that we completed this year. We have some great targets, and the results will probably be, I'd say, forthcoming early in the new year. So maybe January or February, we could have the results from that program. So that should be exciting. Let's look at Japan, the Kazan Gold Project. That's our portfolio of 5 gold projects in Japan, which I visited last month. And we are drilling at the Kato Gold Project as we speak. We should have results, like I said, we could have them before the end of the year, but I suspect it could get pushed into the new year because crews will shut down for Christmas and the New Year. So I think it's probably going to be early next year, but there's a chance that we could get it kind of mid this month. if it's possible, we will most certainly get those results out. So that's something really to look forward to, because the next probably 2 or 3 holes could really open up the Kato Gold Project. We've had 2 good intersections on the project this year. If the next 2 or 3 holes hit and we're going much further along strike, then I think that could actually really open up a nice can of worms for us. So that could really be exciting if those next 2 or 3 holes end up hitting. And then lastly, our South Mountain property in Idaho, we did complete the electromagnetic survey there, and we're just compiling the results right now. So we could have a news release on that project before the end of this year. So one more thing to look out for, either by the end of this year or early next year. So we are active on all 3 properties. In addition to all that, we're all still looking at other advanced and early stage gold projects to add to the portfolio. So keeping busy, trying to create value. I know it's been incredibly tough in the market, although it appears that at least for the juniors, that they have bounced off their bottoms. We are kind of, well, we probably got another month or so to get through the rest of tax loss selling, but we seem to be holding up fairly well into the new year. I think that the prospects are looking much better, given that we're going to have quite a bit on the news front, but also just the market seems like it's probably not going to really improve substantially until the next year. So that's it from the project side of things. Now I wanted to kind of put it back to you. For anybody who's watching live or end up watching the replay of this, I'd really like to hear feedback from you. We've been doing a number of these webinars, and we seem to be getting 30 to 40, sometimes 50 to as many as about 100 people on these live summits. And sometimes we get some interaction, but most of the time I'd say people are silent in the background. So I'd really like to hear any feedback that any of you have, whether you'd like to ask a question today online on the summit, or if you want to email me, you can just email me at info@bemetalscorp.com, or you can give me a call, 604-928-2797, or just visit our website if you can't remember any of that. So again, I'd love to hear your feedback. Are we doing enough of these, or are we doing too much of these? Do you like us reaching you by email? Would you rather us give you a call? Any feedback that you have, I'd love to hear it, and hopefully we can improve on our communications. I think that's about it. That's just our summary. We are on social channels, whether it be Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and of course now on YouTube. So if anybody wants to communicate with us with those channels, we'd be happy to hear from you. So with that, I will hand it back over to Cam.
Thanks, Derek. Yeah, and just as a reminder, if anyone has any feedback now, or if you think one in the next couple of minutes, you can submit that in the public chat, absolutely, or you can submit it to the Q&A tab as well. That gets right to Derek, and hopefully we can even address it live. But Derek, we've also had some questions come in that I'd like to address now. First question, what are you most proud of from your team's work this year?
No question. I think getting the program started, our inaugural drilling program in Japan, it has not been easy. We had to, well, it feels as though, North America and probably to a greater extent Europe has been open for business for at least the last year, whereas in many parts of Asia, especially in Japan, it has been very difficult for foreigners to get into the country. Japan opened up just in the spring of this year. Basically, it was closed off for nearly 3 years, and we were able to get our drill team into the country, onto the property. We drilled. We have hit 2 nice intersections of gold. And so I'm really proud that the guys were able to get in there, get that done. Yes, I wish that drilling was going a little bit quicker, but you know what? I've been to the property and it is very challenging there. When you're going from that soft clay into harder material, when you hit the quartz, it does end up creating troubles with drilling, but it looks like our guys are doing a really good job of mitigating that. And like I said, we should have results coming hopefully either in the next couple of weeks or early in the new year.
Great. And speaking of the new year, the next question is, in your opinion, what's the most significant or exciting catalyst that shareholders should be keeping track of for 2023?
Definitely keeping track of our results. So we should have results coming from Japan early in the new year, if not by the end of this year. And certainly from Zambia, you know, the potential there is so big to make an amazing copper discovery in Zambia because of the pedigree of that area. So we should have results early in the new year from that project as well. And you know, I think we have two great shots. In addition, I'll just add that we are going to do some drilling at some of our other properties in Japan. I believe the Todoroki property, which I also visited last month, that's in Hokkaido. We should be doing some drilling there, and if possible, we may drill in Kyushu at our Toshido property as well. So we have some great shots with both of those properties. And of course, Kato is what we're really crossing our fingers for before the end of the year to see some new results.
Right. Absolutely. And maybe this is a good piggyback, but the other question we have is, you know, what do you believe will be BeMetals' greatest challenge in 2023?
Greatest challenge, I mean, I guess we're in the same boat as many other junior companies, or actually almost most equities, you could say, in that the market has been fairly unstable in the past months. Everybody's kind of waiting to see especially how the U.S. Fed handles the inflation and tackles the interest rates. And, you know, everybody's kind of waiting with bated breath. I don't know exactly when that's going to end, when the interest rates are going to kind of start to taper off on the increases. But just looking around the world, it seems as though most countries are still increasing their interest rates. And it seems as though inflation is, for the most part, coming under control from what I've seen, at least in the headlines and from the reports I've seen. But obviously it's going to take some more time. So yeah, I think we're all waiting to see how the general markets turn out, because that has a huge impact on, you know, BeMetals and every other junior mining company out there.
Right. Well, listen, Derek, I want to thank you for the great presentation, a great walk through what you guys are doing, what you're looking forward to. But that's all the questions we have for today. So before we wrap up, I want to pass things back to you to close us out.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Cam. Sorry there were no other live questions today, but as I said, I'd really encourage you to submit your feedback, whether it be by email, by phone. Happy to hear what you have to say to improve our communication. And I'm looking forward to delivering some more news to all of you when we get the results from Japan and from Zambia, also from South Mountain in Idaho. So thanks again for joining us today, and see you next time.